A lot of these NFL teams are starting up OTAs, and the Atlanta Falcons are in the middle of their OTA workouts right now. And we got some clips of Michael Penix with some of these veterans, some of these rookies, throwing the ball around, working on some drills, working with Kirk Cousins. I got the clips right here. And before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're covering these rookies extensively. We're looking at these OTAs, these rookie camps, soon to be mini camps and training camps, getting you the footage from behind the scenes and going over it. Click that button. Stop missing out. But we're here to look at Michael Penix. We're going to watch the clips. Then we're going to watch him again talk some ball. But 2 minutes and 17 seconds, so we got a good bit. So we're going to watch him in some drills here. This one went semi-viral, I would say. Decent footage, putting it in there. Him, Kirk Cousins and company, working out. I see him right there, the lefty. One thing that was noted during rookie camp is a lot of the players had trouble catching his ball because they weren't used to him being left-handed. At least that's what we thought. We were trying to make sense of it because they were like very short passes, easy ones to catch. They kept dropping it, but there was a lot. But you're seeing him sling the ball around the yard there. He's got a good spin. The ball comes off his hands very live. It comes off pretty quick. A little Kirk Cousins action. Penix is learning from him, and that's a very good quarterback to learn from. He's played for multiple teams. He's been successful with multiple teams, earned some contracts. Michael Penix, there he is. Should help him with his development. There he is, just an easy drill. Getting the blood flowing. Here we go again, playing some pitch and catch. That's what OTAs is. Pitch and catch. So rookie camp is pretty much your orientation to your new job. OTAs is when you meet up with that veteran on the sales floor or whatever, and they show you the ropes. That's OTAs. Minicamp is when you're under your 90-day probationary period. You're still new. Not much accountability. Training camp, full go. Full go. That's when you're competing. That's when the rules start being instated. Obviously, it's not the same thing for the NFL, but you're seeing him throw the ball. He was a little off on that last one. Here's the same clip, different beat writer, and I just threw it in there. I really like seeing the rain. It kind of got me excited for football. I'm not going to lie. Just him working through some drills, throwing it around. Same clip, different beat writer from earlier. A little brighter, looked really good. It caught my eye in the beginning, then at the end of it, I realized it was the same thing. There it is. I like Michael Penix. I'll definitely say that. What I like about Michael Penix, he's accurate downfield. He can throw the ball downfield with accuracy. Also, what I like about him is he's very experienced. He's an older quarterback prospect. I don't mind that too much, considering he's got a lot of experience. We saw him play well with 2 different collegiate programs. Back in Indiana, he was on the radar. He was back then. The injuries were a problem back then, but we got right. We went to Washington, had 2 very productive seasons there, really lit it up. Got put on notice. That got him into the first round. And prior to that Michigan game, he was considered a first-round prospect. And if you said otherwise, people would fight you. Then after that Michigan game, then we got to draft season, it kind of dulled down a lot. So I'm not really surprised he got drafted in the first round because you put that time period away, people considered him a first-rounder. That's what the market was saying. So it's not like he's some jabroni quarterback that got randomly drafted in the first round. There's some other preferences you may rather have. And the Atlanta Falcons, opportunity cost could have went some other directions. But guess what? We're now here. Now we got to look at Michael Penix with this team. You got Kirk Cousins. He's looking good. Kirk Cousins is looking good from what we've seen. There is a clip of him jogging off the field. I might want to go over that with you guys so we can go over that Achilles. But he's looking good. He's ahead of schedule or on schedule. He's moving around. He's at practice. He's throwing the ball around. We're seeing him right here move back. We're seeing more movement in that clip than we've had from Kirk Cousins and a lot of other clips we've really analyzed. And Michael Penix has a very pretty ball. Comes out very quick. It's very snappy. Good anticipation. And with Washington, he had some good wide receivers there. We can call that out. That's fine. Jalen Polk, Rome Odunze, And we got some good weapons there. McMillan. But Michael Penix has some upside, and he's going to get some time to develop under Kirk Cousins, some time to season. So once they're willing to move on, or if contract negotiations go a little bit sour, or injuries happen, they got their quarterback prospect. They got their quarterback ready to go. And this is an in-house play, a quarterback that they're developing underneath here. And that's the goal, right? You want Kirk Cousins to be that dude. How many years? We shall see, because you do not know what the future is going to unfold. But say if Michael Penix has to be thrown to the fire, or if he's the starting quarterback sooner than later, he's got some weapons. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. Behind Bijan Robinson, you got some good running backs. You got Tyler Algier, a good banger back. This team's got some weapons. So if he develops quickly and he exceeds expectations, you got yourselves a franchise quarterback for the long term with some good weapons. Kirk Cousins there to really get you over the hump right now. This team's built to win right now. This offense is built to move the football. Kirk Cousins is going to be the distributor, but there is going to be a time where they're going to have to transition out of that, and it might be sooner than later, considering what this move says. But considering they got a first-round quarterback at the price, I get the opportunity cost. That is not being ignored, but it's already happened. They got a developmental quarterback here that they can season behind a very good veteran, and they can have on the roster. And if they want to move on, or if they want to do whatever with Michael Penix, they can make that move. Michael Penix has a lot of upside here in this offense. Any quarterback being drafted to the Falcons has that upside because this is a grand situation. He is definitely better than Desmond Ridder. He's going to be an upgrade over that. So you got an upgrade over Desmond Ridder as your backup quarterback, Falcons fans. That's one thing you can look at. You can think about the other picks and other players, but for the long term here, you got a good safeguard here at quarterback, the most important position in all of sports. Looking at Michael Penix, the way the ball comes off the hands, it comes out snappy, it comes out quick. We know he's got accuracy downfield. We know he's got good pass catchers. And with what you got here with Bijan, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and company, you got some weapons here. And if something happens to Kirk Cousins and you got to transition again, you do not want to transition back to that Desmond Ridder era. You want that developmental quarterback on site ready to go for when that's happening. I get the cautionary tale of the opportunity cost, but that's not the reality right now. The reality is you got Michael Penix. There is some upside. There's some greener pastures, and we got to stay positive here, and we got to stay moving forward. Michael Penix has some upside. Michael Penix isn't really a jabroni quarterback. He does have some goods to his game. Prior to that Michigan game, remember, he was considered a first-round pick. He was considered that, and prior to the 2023 college football season, people were looking at him potentially moving up to being a first-round pick anyways. He had that in him. That's something what people were looking at. And now he went in the first round. And you know what? Shouldn't be surprised. He's got some goods to his game. For Dynasty Fantasy Football, if you're looking for a quarterback in Superflex rookie drafts, he's a good discount. He's a good discount. He's a developmental play. He's a patient play. If you can't be patient, then don't do it. But again, when quarterbacks get their opportunity in Superflex, especially an established league, a league that's been around for a bit, that's not fluid with quarterbacks on their trade market, a quarterback like this that all of a sudden gets anointed, they go for a ton of value on the trade market if you make that move, if you want to get a return on investment. That's something you do even if you don't like Michael Penix. Where I'm seeing him go, middle of the second round. Late first is too rich for my blood. I've seen it in a couple drafts. Middle of the second round somewhere. When you start getting that ick at wide receiver, running back, when you start getting that ick, that's probably when you want to start to pivot and get that stock. It's a stock play for Dynasty Fantasy Football. 1 QB, super cheap. 4th rounder-ish, 3rd rounder-ish. Doesn't really matter. Again, when you get the ick with the backup running backs, really, that's when you're looking at. Redraft, you're not really paying attention unless you're in a super deep league or something like that. But again, in season, you might have to due to attrition. But Dynasty, stock play, and you really got to know your values. You got to know your league. Every Superflex league is different. Well, most of them are. Superflex starting to be a bigger standard right now among fantasy leagues. But again, you got to know your market. You got to know how QBs move on your market, and you got to price accordingly to how quarterbacks are being valued on your market for when you need to sell. But if these quarterbacks in your league are getting a big boost in value and they're jabroni quarterbacks who get starts for 3, 4, 5 games out of the year with limited long-time upside, then of course you're going to want to invest in Penix. Of course you want to pay up a little bit, especially if you're hurting a quarterback or if you need to add depth or if you got a roster spot. If you got room to make the move, you might as well do it. Falcons fans, I get it. I get it about the draft pick. I get the opportunity costs. But we're talking about Michael Penix here. He's got a live arm. He's got experience. He's accurate downfield. You got some good pass catchers. If something happens to Cousins, you don't have to have too much of a worry. You got a player here with some upside. We got another Green Bay Packers situation like with Love, where you got a quarterback waiting in the wings. They're waiting for a bit. Then eventually with some seasoning, maybe it happens, maybe it turnovers for you guys, and you don't have to have that quarterback transition. When you get bit by that Desmond Ridder era, you kind of don't want to get bit again, so you kind of understand what they were thinking when they made this move. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One, thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.